Hi, Prantik.
Hi, Chavi.
Prantik, thank you for joining us here from TiE's Singapore. My first question to you is, which sectors do you think are high growth sectors in India, have the highest potential for an investor to invest in?
Yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for having me here, Chavi. Representing TiE's Singapore here, and it's a big moment because both TiE Delhi, TiE Singapore celebrating 25 years. So from a Singapore lens, I think there are 3 or 4 sectors that Singapore investors, companies, or even the government are very keen. I think semiconductor is one. I think just given the global geopolitical scenario where everyone is looking at a China +1 strategy, I think India has a massive role to play when it comes to semiconductor. And Singapore, people don't realize this, it's a tiny red dot as they say, but semiconductor is a huge part of the economy. But I think now what they're looking forward to India is, in terms of manufacturing, in terms of just looking at the next layer of innovation when it comes to chipsets. So I would call that out as one. The other is deep tech. And specifically, I think Singapore is very impressed at a couple of specific deep tech opportunities. I think one is space. I think we have seen, the likes of Agnicool, Pixel, and a few others, the impact that these, early stage startups are making. So I would call out space. I would call out biotech and health as a combination, as well as EV. I think you're seeing a lot of strides being made in Indian research houses, the higher education institutes, as well as early stage startups coming out of incubators.
From a deep tech perspective, where do you see most Gen AI cases getting implemented?
Yeah, as the name suggests, Gen AI, I think right now the world is very excited on the generative capability in the creative sense. I've built and sold a business in the marketing space. So you're seeing a lot of use cases on helping marketers on the agency or client side, create copy, text, video, audio. There's another one called Wubble.ai, which is helping clients or enterprises create royalty-free music. So if you go to cafes, restaurants, bars, or if you're making games or OTT videos, typically you're paying license to the music creator or the artist. Here, AI is helping you create the music, which the brand owns.
I think the music one is something that I've heard for the first time. That's
right.
A startup where I would invest in.
I'll connect you.
Yeah. So my last question is, you said India has a good consumer story, and globally we are seeing sustainability is becoming a big buzzword.
Yeah.
Do you think that trend is there in India as well? Is India ready for a sustainability wave? And India consumer industry, I see Singaporeans are moving towards sustainability. There are a lot of startups focusing on fashion sustainability, on retail sustainability. But in India, that mindset, has it come? Will it come? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, look, I think from a consumer lens, my immediate answer would be no. I think we are at if you look at India's growth stage, at a macro level, India, from a GDP growth or a per capita income, we have a long way to go, right? Generally, if you look at markets, once they have crossed the per capita income of about $10,000, $12,000, you have sort of satiated basic needs of life. So whether it comes to climate, sustainability, I can't imagine that bulk of India's population, that would be top of mind. And that's understandable. And there is no value judgment here. But I think where I have a lot of faith in India, when it comes to any sort of regulation policy or specifically sustainability, is in the private sector, in the B2B sector. I mean, I think India is doing phenomenally well when it comes to renewables. Whether you look at the Cochin airport, whether you look at states like Rajasthan investing in solar, you look at hydro plants. I think public-private sort of partnerships defined by government policies, I think that will shape.
Any word of advice for budding entrepreneurs from your side?
Firstly, I would say, I think especially budding entrepreneurs in India, blessed to be at the right time. I think, if you were having this conversation even a decade or 2 decades ago, the environment was different from every aspect. The India growth story, the capital available, the policy from state and central government. So all I would say is start. I just think people should not overthink starting, because the reality of the startup world, as a founder I've experienced, or as an investor now, you may have a pitch, you may have a dream. The reality is that you may not end there, but I think the important part is to start and start early starting. The only thing I would have told myself, I wish I had started a decade earlier, because the reality is you will not end up doing what you think you want to do. You will fail anyway. So you might as well give yourself time at an early stage of life, where hopefully life gives you a higher risk appetite. It just progressively gets harder to take that risk once you get to a relatively comfortable lifestyle. So just start.